friends, welcome back to another episode of Kayleigh Grows, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit differently. I'm going to be going back and watching my very first plant tour. So I have it pulled up on my phone over here, and it was posted February 24th, 2021. So that is like 2.5 years ago, a little bit more. I'm filming this at the very end of November 2023. And yeah, so pretty much my thought process behind this is just to watch the video and react to it. So I'm going to show you guys how the plants that are still alive are doing, the plants that I don't have anymore, what happened, whether they died, I gave them away. I have moved to a different state in between this, so I did give away a decent amount of plants. So we'll see. It says that I have over 50 plants. I have over 100 now, so yeah, I would love to see just kind of how this changes. So with that being said, let's get started. Hi friends, welcome back to another episode of Kayleigh Creates. My name is Kelly, and this is going to be another kind of different video. I know my makeup is the same. I know. I'm just lazy. Okay, so the very first thing that I recognize is my teeth. I have gotten Invisalign since this has been filmed, so my teeth are a whole lot straighter. I actually still have Invisalign. I got it in May of 2021, and I am going to be finishing up pretty soon. But yeah, I also, this was when I was still doing the whole makeup thing, so Kayleigh Creates and all the makeup going on. This is actually the first time I've put on makeup for a video in a while. Yeah, so let's keep going. Get this video done in time. I have a call in like half an hour, so let's see if I can actually get through everything. But today I am actually going to be showing you guys all of my houseplants. So I have recently made the decision that I am going to be happy. And one thing that really does make me feel happy is having living things around my house. And I already have a decent amount of pets, but I also love having living greenery around me as well. I am not perfect. Everything actually looked a lot better before I went away for Christmas. And I really thought everything was gonna be fine with me being gone for a week, and a couple of them are a little mad at me. Oh no. I definitely expected them to be a little bit better, but it's fine. It's fine. That's one good thing about houseplants, is that they're constantly growing and you're always learning. So I am just gonna be doing a tour around my house with all the different greenery that I have. This is my winter time setup. It looks a lot better in the summer and the spring, but right now I have a lot more plants inside than I normally do, than I do outside. So without further ado, I'm gonna jump into this video because it is gonna take me a bit of time. All right, so I'm gonna be starting out. Oh my gosh. All right, so I'm about to start the little tour, I guess. I love the makeup that I had going on, so that's really cool. I love that I'm making the decision to be happy. Less than a year later, I actually get one of my dream jobs and move to Tennessee to actually pursue marine biology. So it's really sweet that I'm thinking about that. But yeah, let's start looking at those plants. Side. So this is my cute little front porch. This is a super zoom camera, so I'm going to be getting in a little bit closer, but I wanted to show you guys my little setup first. So the first plant that we have over here is not doing very well. This is a tricolor chrysanthemum. I got it at the grocery store. It definitely was getting too much water the last place that I had it, and now it's unhappy because it is cold out, but it was a nice full plant of flowers. Right behind it over. All right, so spoiler, I do not have a single one of these plants that I have on the porch. That chrysanthemum did not make it through the winter. It died a couple weeks later. Over here we have a mosquito plant. So this is a citronella plant. We bought this so that we can keep some of those mosquitoes away outside.
Didn't do what it was supposed to do. I swear I don't know what I'm doing with this plant. It's just not happy, it's not thriving, it never has. So I just don't think I have the correct care for it.
That mosquito plant, that is definitely already dead. That I'm taking a video of it. It's definitely already dead. Did not survive.
Next we have my sago palm, or should I say Ryan's sago palm. He fell in love with this plant at Lowe's, so we came home with it. Here I am taking care of it. This guy is so easy. I water him like practically once a month. I'm really excited for him to grow another little frond because I don't know why they're all cut off. We got him with only 2 fronds, so hopefully he grows another one in the spring.
So that sago palm, I did get it to grow more leaves. It grew another 3 leaves. Those other 2 that it originally had died off. And then I sent it up to New Jersey to stay with my mom while I was figuring out housing here in Tennessee, and it died while it was up there, unfortunately. I think it was already not doing super well. All the leaves were completely yellow. I think I was giving it too much water because I did bring it inside for a little while. And yeah, unfortunately, he did not make it.
Next we have this little peperomia. Also, peep the glitter skulls. Someone just left those on our front porch and I kind of like them, so they stayed.
I love the glitter skulls.
This is a pincushion peperomia. This is also super easy to take care of. Again, he's not super happy because it's kind of cold out, but he's doing a lot better than I expected him to. I don't water him super often because he's outside, and he's just so cute. This is another one I found in the grocery store that just kind of fell in love with him.
That pincushion peperomia was not happy outside. It completely rotted only a couple weeks later. I am not a peperomia person. I think I own exactly 1 peperomia right now. Not very good.
Next we have this plant, which I loved for so long, and then I went away and he's all mad at me. So this is a bird of paradise. I got this guy at Lowe's and he was doing so well. Look how big that new leaf is. And he is thirsty. This is a very thirsty plant. I went away for like 9 days and I didn't ask anyone to water him, and he is boycotting me right now. So it definitely could be a lot worse. There is still a new leaf coming in right here, but he definitely is a little worse for wear than he was before. I love how big this plant is. This is definitely my biggest plant. I just think he is so cute.
So that bird of paradise, I did get it to grow back. It did continue growing throughout that summer. I cut back all the leaves that weren't looking so good. It grew a couple more leaves. It was very happy. Unfortunately, when I moved, it was way too big to move it with me because it did get even bigger. I did give it to one of my former interns, and I believe she still has it. She sent me a video of it probably like a year ago now. So she might not have it anymore, but she did have it not too long ago. So that one did not die, even though it was very unhappy.
All right, next we have my living room setup. These are my turtles over here. Say hi, Sunny and Airly. But right next to them, I do have grow lights. My house has very bad lighting, so I have grow lights that take care of most of my plants. But in here, I have a couple of plants that I normally keep outside, and they are inside for now because it is winter time. So first we have my Peruvian apple cactus. This guy is one of my pride and joys. He is just so big. Over the summer he did have a flower. Unfortunately I missed it because I left him alone for a couple of days and I didn't get to see the flower. I just saw the petals on the ground, but I'm really hoping he blooms for me again this summer.
So the cactus, I do still have that one. He has grown a lot for me. I've gotten a whole nother nub on top. If you watched my cacti and succulent tour, you would have seen him. At the last place that I lived, I did have a covered porch. So he lived out there so he didn't get too much of this Tennessee rain. He bloomed so many times. I got like, I think 6 blooms that summer. But he is still alive, still doing well, and I still have him.
Next we have my spider plants in the back. These are actually presents from my coworker. They are so cute. I love how bright green they are. They're super happy to be in this grow light. As you can see by the one that has super long leaves. Look how long these are. He's very happy over here with all of that bright light.
So I do not have those spider plants anymore. Those were ones that I just didn't have a ton of love for by the time that I moved. So I did give them away to friends. I do not know how they're doing anymore, but I do not have those anymore.
Next, we have my African milk tree. This guy is so cool. I swore that this guy died. I obviously just wasn't giving him enough light, and I put him outside and he grew like an inch. And now that he's in the grow lights, he's continuing to grow. All of his leaves down at the bottom fell off because he was unhappy, and now here he is just looking super happy and lush and growing like a weed. He's just so cool. He's so different than anything else I have.
All right, I do still have that African milk tree. It is a euphorbia. I do have it upstairs in my window. It is absolutely huge now. It has doubled in size since I moved to this house, but even before that, it has grown a lot. And yeah, so this just shows how much it has grown, and I love seeing the progress of my plants.
Right behind him, I have a devil's tongue cactus. So this guy actually had a little fake flower on him when I bought him. That's why some of the areas are kind of dyed pink. But he is growing a ton. All of those really light spikes are all new growth. And he is just so cute. I love how the spines like curl. I just think it is so cool. Right.
All right, yeah, I still have that cactus. I still have my devil's tongue cactus. It is still doing very well. It is grown a lot. It lives in my grow lights on my shelves. And yeah, I love it. It makes me happy. I love seeing the plants that I have for a very long time.
Next to him, I have what Ryan calls his monkey bread. Ryan has a couple of plants in here. But this is called a chin cactus. I don't know why it's called a chin cactus, but I think it's so cute. I got this from a local nursery nearby called the Plant Outpost, but I just think he's so cute. Look at all his little spines. I love cactuses or cacti, but this guy is so easy to take care of. I water him like once a month and he's happy.
I do still have that chin cactus. It has grown a little bit of a nub up on top. But I do still have him. Ryan does still call him monkey bread, and yeah.
Back behind him over there, I have a crassula. It is a jade plant, and he's just so cool. I actually have him in this really cute mug. He doesn't even have any drainage holes, but he's happy. This is a mug that my old roommate gave to me, and again, I thought that this plant was dying, but he just kind of turned it around, was super happy in the light, and I'm happy that I put him in this grow light over here.
I do still have that crassula. I do still have it. It has grown a ton. It's almost like a little tree now. It is the same plant, even though it looks very different. I still have it growing in the same mug. I have given it fresh soil a couple of times, but I do still have this plant. I love it.
Next we have this toothpick cactus. This is another one of Ryan's plants. He calls it the unit. So it is, again, just super easy to take care of. Just kind of water it like once a month and he's happy. I do give it all of these cacti full waterings so that they can get wet all the way down to their roots, but I do make sure that the soil is completely dry before watering them again.
So I do still have the unit. The unit is still around. It looks exactly the same. It has not grown at all, and it's very funny to see it in this video. It looks exactly the same. I don't know what I'm doing with it, but it is still going strong. He looks the same, very unit. The pot has a little bit more patina on it. Some of the paint has chipped off. I like the little ruggedness that it gives, but it looks the same.
All the way up front is kind of a sad plant. This is my string of pearls. I did have this in a really big basket, and I just can't keep these things happy. I can't get them to dry out enough inside of that pot. So I did just water this not too long ago. I plan on letting it dry a whole bunch before watering it again. I would like to pot it in a terracotta pot, but I just don't have any right now. He's just unhappy. I don't know if he's gonna live, but what are you gonna do?
Okay, I do not have that string of pearls anymore. I think I even tried another string of pearls a couple months later. That one also died. I am not a string of pearls girl. As much as I would love to have a really big, beautiful basket of string of pearls, I do not. They do not do well in my care. Very, very dead. Very long dead.
Next I have little tiny friendship plants. So this is my Pilea peperomoides that have had a couple of babies, and they're just potted up in here. This is a cute little pot that my brother gave to me for Christmas. I haven't decided on what I want to put in there just yet, but I thought that this Pilea looked really cute right now, right there.
I do not have any of my Pilea friendship plants. I don't have any of those. I gave away all the little ones to my friends, and then the mother plant had a very horrible death, so do not have those anymore.
Right behind it is another kind of sad story. This is a lavender scallops. Unfortunately, one day I had him hanging and he was knocked down and he broke. So I have him sitting on some soil. He has grown a bunch of roots, but he still doesn't look very happy. Hopefully he will become a little bit happier soon, but I'm just taking my time with him. I know that succulents are very slow growing, and I'm just keeping my eye on him and giving him some water whenever he looks even more unhappy than he usually does.
I do not have that plant anymore. It didn't make it. I had it hanging in my window, and Ryan went to go close the blinds and it knocked the whole plant down, and it just completely croaked. Do not have that plant.
Over here next to my turtles, I do have a couple more plants. One of them is mine, one of them is not. So this guy over here, this is a snake plant, specifically a black gold one. They could also be called mother-in-law's tongues, which I think is hilarious because they're sharp. And then next to it is...
So I do not have that snake plant anymore. I have it over here in like very dark area. I completely overwatered it. It rotted. It stunk. I learned that snake plants, although they can survive in darker areas, they don't necessarily thrive. So very, very dead.
Is a ZZ plant. This I did get for my friend for Christmas, and I just have not been able to give it to her just yet. She's new to houseplants, so I thought that would be a great plant to give to her. So Emma, if you're seeing this video, before I give it to you, Merry Christmas.
Actually, I did end up giving that plant to my friend, and she does still have it. So she's very happy. It still lives in that Potterhead pot. It has grown a decent amount. She still has that one.
Alright, this part is going to be a little bit more difficult to film, so I'm going to get really close to these guys. This is my kitchen window. So first we have my air plant over here. This is the first air plant I've ever been able to keep alive, so hopefully I'm doing something right. I give him a good soak every week or so and put him back up there, and he seems to be pretty happy.
I do still have this air plant. This air plant is still alive. It has grown a decent amount. I actually still have it in the little egg that it is growing in there. I have not gotten it to bloom at all, but I don't really change the watering. I don't really change the lighting on it, so it's not going to produce blooms. But it is still going strong.
So I have a couple different types of echeverias. So that's what this guy is. This one was actually one of my first succulents and I completely overwatered him. He does not look happy, but he's continuing to grow. I am a lot more careful with watering him. He does have a couple babies that are in that pot. I don't know if he's gonna survive, but he's here for now and he's doing all right.
He did not survive. I'm not a succulent girl. I was really trying. I am not a succulent girl.
Up here I have another echeveria. Again, this is another one that I kind of killed, but the babies are doing super well. So I don't know what kind they are. Succulents are not my forte. I tend to overwater plants. So I like the plants that are a little bit more high maintenance. So this guy I think is really cool. I do need to rotate him a lot because he grows so fast towards the sun.
So this plant, I actually did get to come back a decent amount. You can see in that video that it has some babies growing up. I ended up filling almost that whole pot with babies. But again, it was something that I just did not love as much as my other plants. So I sent it away with different friends. And I don't know if it's still alive or not. Honestly, I can't even remember what friend I gave it to, but I do not have him anymore.
Next over here, I have a jelly bean plant. He's very stretched out, but I did buy him like that. So I think he's just super stretched. This is a north-facing window, so it does not get a ton of light, but it is direct light whenever it does get it. So the succulents are doing all right. They're not thriving, but they're definitely surviving.
That one went to the same friend that took the other succulent. I think they took a couple of my succulents. But so I don't know if it's still alive. I think it looked pretty much the same when I gave it to them. But I don't remember it dying.
Over here, I have another really cool plant. This is a Cooper's Haworthia. So I just think he is so cool. I wish you were able to see him a little bit more. Pretty neat. Sorry, my house is a mess. I live in a very small house, so it tends to get dirty quickly. But that guy's super easy to take care of. I've learned that I love Haworthias over succulents because you get the same feel, but they're so much easier to take care of. They need less light. They need the same amount of water, which isn't much, but he is just doing fine.
I do still have that Cooper's Haworthia. It has grown a little bit. I haven't put it in a bigger pot. I really should. But I do still have him. He looks great. He's bloomed for me a couple of times. And yeah.
Last over here, I have some many fingers. This is another succulent. Again, I don't really know what I'm doing to succulents, so I don't know if he's doing super well. The one on the left has started to stretch towards the light, so I guess that means that he's surviving, so at least there's that. And I guess he seems pretty happy.
That one went to the same friend that took the other two succulents, so they took all of my succulents. I hope it's still alive. Who knows?
Up here, I just have a bunch of different propagations all sitting together in this nice little triangle vase thing. I love that it hangs from the top of my window, and you guys get a nice look of my neighbors over there. But I just think this is so cool. I do really need to pot these, but I haven't because it's been really cold and I like to do it outside. So I will be repotting them soon. It just hasn't happened quite yet.
I do not have a single one of those plants that I was propagating. Not one. I think I gave them all away. But the mother plants of them I also don't have. So very fun. Yeah, none of them. I do still have the triangle planter though. You can actually, I think you can see it up here in my window. I have a Monstera cutting in it right now.
Over here in my kitchen with all the masks behind it, I do have one single aloe plant. This guy has been with me for a very long time. Again, he's not thriving, but he's surviving. He doesn't get a ton of light back here, but he's still growing some new little branches, so at least there's that. I love having aloe in the kitchen.
So I do still have this aloe plant. This aloe plant is now absolutely huge. In that spot in my kitchen, it was barely surviving. It actually rotted all of its roots back, and I just let it sit in the soil. I changed the soil out and I let it sit in the soil for a while, and it came back. It is very happy now. I did not have any much light in that room, so I did put it in more light and it has come back. I did plant in another small aloe that I got as a present in there, but it is just a small plant. And Night always has to make an appearance. Yeah, so this plant is absolutely huge. This is the same plant. I really thought it was going to die, but it did not.
All right, this is where the magic happens. This is my office. So I'm gonna very slowly go through all of these plants. I'm kind of gonna go rapid fire because I'm not gonna go into a ton of detail because it's just gonna take forever if I do. So the first one that I have over here is a little zebra plant. This is another Haworthia. I believe this is actually my oldest plant. He is actually getting so long that he's kind of starting to trail. This plant has been dropped out of its pot at least 3 times and it's still surviving, so pretty cool over here.
I do still have this plant. This plant is still doing super well. I did have it in too much light not too long ago, so I did pull it back and now it's super happy again.
This guy over here, this is a big jade pothos, and this one is very close to my heart. I used to work in an aquarium nearby, and my coworker gave me some cuttings of the plant there, and I've grown it ever since, and it's just gotten so big, and it's from a plant that I know so well, so it just makes me feel so good to see how big this has gotten. This was the first plant I've ever propagated, so it's really cool just being able to see how big he's gotten and how happy he is.
I do still have this plant. I almost lost it about a year, maybe 2 years ago, year and a half ago. But that pot that I have it in this video does not have drainage, and I overwatered it. So I cut it completely back. I was really upset that I was going to lose it because, like I said, it's close to my heart. But it's back. It's very, very long. She is very happy. I actually think I want to put it on top of my counter, but I'm afraid that it's not going to get much light up there. So we will see. Or I guess on top of my cabinets, not my counter.
And then on the wall over here, I have this trellis that I have a bunch of plants hanging on. The plant that's up top right there is actually watering right now. I'll see him in a little bit. Right here I have a little heartleaf philodendron. I believe it's a Brazil. This one is not super happy. I have underwatered this one a decent amount. All the big leaves have fallen off. I've trimmed him back and gotten him this far, but he's just not feeling good. I'm hoping that he will feel better soon.
I do still have this plant. This plant is actually huge now. And again, if I put it into a bigger pot, I think it would be even bigger, but it is massive compared to what it was. It's very happy now. It's gotten very long, and it still does live on my trellis, but I do a better job with my grow lights now on that trellis.
Up here I have my Marble Queen Pothos. So this one has gotten really big since I've gotten these grow lights. She seems just really happy over here. All these smaller leaves are the new ones. So these guys seem to be doing a little well. I believe it could have a little bit more light, but for where she is right now, I think she's kind of happy.
So I found out that this is not a Marble Queen Pothos. This is actually a Mandula. But I do still have this plant. This plant has gotten very long. I have like one really long runner, but it has lost a bunch of leaves at its base. So I'm thinking about cutting it back and propagating that piece. This is another one that I really should up pot, but I love having it on my trellis, and I don't think my trellis can handle a bigger pot. But it is doing very well. I do still have it, but it is a Mandula Pothos.
Over here I have a striped Dracaena. So this is also called a corn plant, which I find hilarious. This one is also one of my older plants. It doesn't grow a whole lot, but it seems to be thriving. So I think it's just really cool. It's very funky looking compared to my other plants, and I just love her.
I do not have my Dracaena anymore. It also died a horrible death. It completely rotted on me. I think I simultaneously overwatered it and underwatered it at the same time. I think I underwatered it like twice and then put too much water in it and then just rotted. Yeah, I had like 2 leaves on it for a little while and then they just completely fell apart.
Up here I have a typical golden pothos. I did use the hairpin trick on this one. It was trailing and I've kind of twirled it up inside the pot. So it is a little bit bushier on top. So I'm just waiting now for it to start trailing again.
I do still have this plant. I do have it. It's very long. I did up pot it into something slightly bigger. And it's doing very, very well. I love my pothos.
This one over here is a neon pothos. I think it is so cool looking. Like, look how bright those newer leaves are. This one has not started to trail yet. It just seems like it's getting bushier and bushier. So we will see what it will look like someday.
I do still have this plant. It was doing very well, and then very suddenly it was not. So I actually took the plant out, separated it into 2 separate plants, gave one to my friend and kept the other, but she just has not been doing as well ever since. It lost a bunch of leaves at the base. So I'm trying the hairpin trick, but it has not been taking just yet. My house is relatively dry here in Tennessee, so I think it's just taking a little bit longer for those aerial roots to really dig into the soil. But I'm hoping that it makes it.
Up here I have an elephant foot. I believe it's also called a ponytail palm. It's just really, really tiny. I think this thing is so freaking cute. I think the pot might be a little bit too big for her, but I think she just looks really good on the wall over here. She seems to be happy, and I hope that she continues to thrive.
I don't actually know what happened to that plant. I don't remember it dying. So maybe I gave it to a friend. I don't know. I kind of miss it. Maybe I'll get another ponytail palm.
And then down on my desk over here, this is my Syngonium Pink Illusion. So you can see how pink those new leaves are, and the little rolled up leaves are really, really pink as well. This is the one that I am propagating right now in my kitchen window. I just think it is so cool, and it just grows so fast. It's insane.
This one very quickly took a turn for the worse. So all those leaves that are curled up never opened. They just completely stayed shut, and then because of that, the older leaves were starting to die off, and it just never thrived. I really don't know what I did to it, but I was relatively new in my plant journey, so I don't really know. But I do not have her anymore. She died back on me.
Over here I have the mother plant of that Pilea peperomoides. I really don't know if this plant is thriving. It does keep popping out babies, but it's not really growing itself. So I don't know if I have it in too big of a pot. It was in this big of a pot for the nursery pot, so I don't know if I want to repot him into something smaller, but for now, he seems like he's doing all right.
I tried so hard with this plant. I really, really did. I put it in smaller pots, I put it in larger pots, I tried watering it more or less. It just was never happy, and it eventually just completely died back on me. I kind of wish I kept one of those babies because I think the babies were doing better than the adult plant, but no, do not have that anymore.
Right. Next we have a Christmas present of mine. This is called a string of turtles. I absolutely love turtles, and I am a marine biologist, so this guy is very close to my heart. My friend gave this to me for Christmas. I do have another small one that I'll show you later that I did by myself, But this big one is just so cute. I don't know what type of pot I should pot it in. It is just in the nursery pot for now. So if you guys know about what I should repot him in, please let me know.
So I do still have this plant. I did pot that one and the small one into a bigger pot. They did not do well with that transition at all. So I actually cut off a bunch of strands, propagated them, and put them into a new pot. But I still have it. So I like kind of still have this plant. It's still the same plant. It's just not the same like root ball. But I do still have it and it looks beautiful and I still love her.
Next we have this asparagus fern. This guy is doing super, super, super well. It was super small when I bought him. I've had to repot him twice because he keeps growing. And one thing that I love is that if he does get unhappy and turns a little bit brown, you just cut him back a little bit and he starts popping out new shoots. So he just keeps getting taller and taller. This guy was in a pot that broke, so you can kind of see some cracks in there. I did have him hanging, but I had to water him more often. So I took him down off the wall and he seems to be really happy here.
So I did end up giving that asparagus fern away. I had to water that plant almost every single day and it was just not something that I wanted to do. So I did give it away so I didn't have to have Ryan or my mom take care of this plant super often. I was living on the floor of a friend's house for a couple of months, so I knew that I was either going to have to give it away or have it pretty much die. So I do not have this plant anymore. I did give it to a friend. I don't know if it's still alive. I hope so.
Over here is a radiator plant, which I think is a funny name, and he is very unhappy. This was a much bigger pot, but it just doesn't seem to be doing well. Oh, say hi to Tyrion. That's my little lobster over there.
I do not have Tyrion anymore. I loved her so much. She did get pretty old, and I moved her out to Tennessee, and I had her for a couple weeks out here, and she passed away. I really want to get another lobster because that was honestly one of my favorite pets that I've ever had. But unfortunately, she did pass. I'm very sad about it.
But she's just not, or this plant is just not happy. It keeps getting fungus gnats and I just can't get them to go away. So it's just getting more and more unhappy. None of my other plants are suffering from fungus gnats. It's just this guy. So I don't know if he was just prone to it or what. But I don't know if he's gonna last much longer.
I do not have that plant anymore. That one also had a very dramatic death, and it completely rotted back. I'm not a peperomia girl.
Over here I have a string of frogs, or a mini creeping oak. I think this guy is so cute. Look at all that texture on those leaves. I realized that I was completely underwatering him and he wasn't doing badly, but he just wasn't really growing. Finally, I started watering him enough and he's so happy. Look how big and bushy he is. He is actually still in the nursery pot inside of this painted terracotta. So eventually I'll repot him, but it just hasn't happened yet.
I do not have this plant anymore. This one was happier outside, and moving to Tennessee, I knew that it was going to be a different atmosphere. So I did give it away. Again, I don't know if it's alive or not, but I do not have him anymore.
Over here, I have my very, very first Hoya. This is the beginning of my Hoya obsession. This is a string bean Hoya, or a Hoya shepherdii. And I think it's so cute. It just started growing these 2 new leaves, and I think it's absolutely adorable. And this was the gateway Hoya for me.
This is not a string bean Hoya. Again, let me look up very quickly what kind of Hoya it is. This is a Hoya Weyertii. It is still my very first Hoya that I ever had, but it was just mislabeled, and it still was my gateway Hoya. I have a ton of Hoyas now. I do have a Hoya tour if you guys want to see it, but I love my Hoyas and they're doing very well. I do still have this Hoya as well.
Right behind it, I have a Monstera Adansonii. This is a really new plant for me. I've only had it about 2 weeks, so I can't really talk much about how it's doing. It is growing a new leaf, which is good, but it is yellowing another, so I don't really know. I'm learning about this plant as I go.
I do still have this plant. It has gotten really, really big. It's trailing really down beautiful. But I do still have this plant. I love her so much.
Up behind that, I have a plant that I'm a little bit embarrassed about. So this is a rose-painted calathea. This one is another one that's very mad at me for going away. I was very proud of myself for how well I was taking care of her, but now she has this big leaf that's turning yellow and brown. Some other leaves that are curling up that I'll be cutting off after this video. But I'm hoping once I cut her back, she'll continue to grow. She does have a couple new leaves coming in, so hopefully I didn't make her too upset that she won't come back.
This is another one that I really, really tried with. I still had it until right before I moved into this house. So I still had her for another probably 2 years after that video. And she just was never happy. She had like 2 leaves on her for a very long time. And finally those 2 leaves died and the rest of the plant died with it. It's unfortunate, but it did happen. And
all right, over here I have a Hoya Crimson Queen. This one I actually ordered off of Etsy, and the buyer was so cool. I ordered a much smaller one, but it came in with all the leaves broken off, and I told him that, and he actually sent me a new, bigger plant. And since then, the very top leaf over there grew in, and it's just such a healthy plant. I'm so thankful for nice sellers.
I do still have this plant. I do have this one. I ended up getting another 2 very similar Hoyas, and it is still growing. It's gotten big, and it's still beautiful. I'm very thankful for this Hoya.
Over here, I have a Hoya Puba Calyx, and I just think the little splashes on those leaves are so cool. I do have it climbing up this pole right here, so it does seem to be happy because it's grown that leaf since I've mounted it. I hope that it does continue to grow leaves. Its vines are crazy. It's probably as tall as my trellis over here, but I absolutely love this plant. I love Hoyas so much. They're just so cool looking.
I do still have this Hoya. I have the same Hoya Puba Calyx. Instead of that bamboo stick, I have it on a little trellis instead. It's not really using this trellis. Unfortunately, those vines did die back, but it has grown more leaves. So still around, still have her, still love her.
Over here, I have a Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. This one I struggled with for the first couple weeks that I had it, but I think it must have just been adjusting to my home. And I did have to cut it back because it had a couple of leaves that were dying. And since then, it's popped out 4 new leaves, and another one is coming. So I think just that little cut helped a lot. Once it's a little bit bigger, I am going to mount it on this little pole over here to allow it to climb, but I have not gotten that far just yet, so it seems to be kind of...
This is another one that I tried for a very, very long time for. This one just rotted on me about a month ago. It just never, I think there was something wrong with the genetics of this plant because it was just absolutely never happy. I could never get it to look the way that I wanted it to. It actually never got tall enough to put on that little pole. I have a different Rhaphidophora tetrasperma, and this one's doing a lot better. I have this one kind of hanging in my kitchen right now, and I hope that she does better. She already looks healthier, but we will see.
Happy. And then this one over here is called a Pilea mollis. This one is one that I wasn't super excited about when I bought it. It was just kind of cool in, I think it was Lowe's, and I wasn't super excited about it, but now that it has sun stressing on it, that like red on it, I am obsessed. It has grown so much since I've gotten him. It is just so cool, and it always has little tiny flowers on it.
This one I'm very sad about. This one also I had until I lived in my last place, and it just was never happy in Tennessee. It was so beautiful, so huge in North Carolina. It loved being there. I think it was because it was so humid there. And ever since I moved to Tennessee, it just completely, very slowly died back. And finally I put it out of its misery. So unfortunately, I do not have that one anymore. Looking back, I love that plant. So I'm very sad that I lost it, but unfortunate.
The next is another Pilea. This is a Pilea Dark Mystery. I got this one around Halloween, which makes sense because it is a very Halloween-y looking plant. This guy is so dramatic. Like, whenever it needs water, the whole plant flops over. So it's very easy to tell when I need to water him. And I'm very careful to water him as soon as he's telling me so that he doesn't start dropping leaves or crisping.
I do not have this plant anymore. It did finally just completely crisp up. I learned that Pileas are not my favorite. I've learned that I like to overlove plants, but I need plants that are able to bounce back. So that's why I love my pothos. That's why I love my Hoyas. They're just a little bit more hardy, while Pileas, they need that even amount of water all the time. So I do not have this one anymore.
Down over here, I have another one of those string of turtles. I love this guy. It is the little tiny one. I also got this one off of Etsy, and he's grown so much since I've gotten him. Someday I hope to put the two pots together so it's just one big plant, but for now he seems happy over there.
Like I said, I tried that, did not work, cut it back, and now it's a beautiful different plant.
Next I have my Hoya carrii. I genuinely don't understand how this plant works because this is the only leaf that I have. I don't know if it's going to grow a new stem or what, but I don't know, it's alive, it's thriving, so if it does start to grow more, I think that will be really cool.
And it did! I was always told that the Hoya hearts will not grow into anything else, but it did. It grew into a beautiful new plant, and it looks beautiful, and I'm so excited to see what it can do.
Next over here is another plant that I'm super proud of. This is a rattlesnake plant. This is another type of Calathea or Calathea or Maranta. I don't really know the difference of them just yet. I'm slowly learning. And this guy is constantly growing new leaves. I did water him without filtered water a couple times, and that's why he has some browning on his leaves. But I'm very careful now to give him filtered water, and he seems to be much happier now.
I do still have this plant. This plant is still big and happy. I don't give it filtered water. I think it was just getting used to my housing conditions, where I was talking about that it was browning. It's still beautiful. It looks great right now. It's still growing. It's growing slower because it is in a slightly darker spot than it was in this house, but it is still growing.
Next over here, I have a prayer plant. I don't know a big difference between the different types of prayer plants. I don't know if this is just one single type or if it's just a coloration of one. This one's so cool because it really does move throughout the day. So as soon as I turn off these grow lights, it does stand up. Right now it is relatively flat, but this thing grows so fast. I've gotten at least 10 new leaves since I got this plant, and this plant has maybe been in my home a month. So pretty neat. I love this guy. He is very thirsty, but I work with him.
I do still have this plant. It doesn't look quite as good as it does in this video, but it is still growing. Again, I don't have it growing in as bright of light, so it's not growing as fast. Moving from Wilmington to Tennessee, it did lose a lot of those really big, beautiful leaves, but I think it is very slowly adjusting to its new home. Very slowly, as in like a year and a half, but it is getting there. I have gotten a couple of nice big leaves, but so it is still alive. I wouldn't necessarily say thriving, but it is still alive.
Over here, I actually have a double. So this is another Hoya shepherdii or string bean Hoya. I didn't realize that they were the same plant.
They're not.
They look so different. I got them from 2 different nurseries, and I just think that he's really cool looking. This one looks more spidery, and he's just really neat.
So I do still have that plant. That one is a Hoya shepherdii. I do still have it. It very recently started growing a lot for me, and he still looks absolutely beautiful.
Next we have Ryan's little setup over here. He has this little variegated umbrella tree on his desk. He has his Xbox and PlayStation and all of that. But this little guy sits next to our window and he seems to be pretty happy.
This one also had a very dramatic death. It looked really awesome for a very long time, and then just like one day all the leaves fell off and it shriveled up. So I don't know what I did. I think it was just a mini plant, and I love mini plants, but they dry out so fast that if you don't notice it, they just die. So I love putting my mini plants in my cabinet because it keeps that humidity up until I can up-pot them into something slightly bigger.
Next we have my desk over here. It's a little bit of a mess because I use it so often. Right here is actually a baby Monstera deliciosa, so I'm really excited to see how this one grows. It already has a bunch of new leaves. I've been told how fast they grow, but this one is already growing very quickly. I'm excited to finally see some fenestrations on it someday, but I don't have a lot of space for a big plant, so I thought starting as a baby might be nice.
I do still have this plant. My Monstera has never looked the way that I want it to. I think I just have always grown it in too dark of an area, so it just never really fenestrated well for me. So very recently I did cut back a couple of leaves up top. I think I'm going to start a separate plant and see what I can do with those, because I've heard that if you cut back a Monstera, they tend to grow back a little bit better than they were before. But I'm too afraid to completely cut back this mother plant because she means so much to me. So I want to see if these leaves make it first. But she just kind of stretches out a lot. I do have a couple of fenestrations, but not like full fenestrated leaves. So we will see what happens with that plant.
And then last but not least is my Janet Craig. This plant, I swear, does not do anything. It is bottom watering right now. I bottom water most of my plants. I actually need to put some more water in this pot. But this guy does not grow, it does not die, so I don't really know if it's happy or not, but it's definitely surviving. So, pretty cool plant, very plant-looking plant, and I actually love him.
I don't have this plant anymore. It did die on me. So this is one that I didn't realize that it was doing badly, and then just one day everything browned up, everything crisped up, and it died. I also do not bottom water most of my plants anymore. The only ones that I do are the ones that are like really, really, really dry. Honestly, just because I don't have time. I have so many plants that I don't have the attention span to bottom water all of them. This was when I was still working from home during the pandemic a lot, so I had a lot more time to work with my plants. I work in person 5 to 7 days a week. I do have 3 jobs, so I don't have the time to bottom water my plants. I barely have enough time to take care of my plants, so don't do that anymore. Don't have that Janet Craig. I think the rest is just the outro, so I just kind of want to watch it just to reminisce.
All right, so that is all of my plants. So I know it was a lot. I hope this video wasn't too crazy long, but I love my plants so much. They are pretty much my children. I have a lot of pets already and I can't get any more pets, so I keep adopting plants. So it's been a while for me since I've adopted another one. Actually, no, maybe not that long, maybe only a few weeks, but I am officially out of space. So these are my plants for now. I hope that they are healthy. I'm sorry if I was wrong with any of the identifications. If I was, let me know in the comments down below. I'm still learning, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you want any more plant type videos, let me know. I would love to do more of them, and I don't know, we'll see how it goes in the future. But I hope that you guys have a wonderful day wherever you are, and I will see you guys again next time. Bye.
All right, that was actually really cute. I know this video is going to be like crazy long for me. So if you guys watch the whole thing, thank you guys so much. That was really fun to look back on all these plants. I can't believe how many of them I don't have. I think that was like more than half the plants that I just don't have anymore. So very soon, I think I'm going to do a tour of like all of my plants. I did a collection video for all the different types, but there are some that don't fit into any of those. So I think I'm going to do a tour pretty soon. Unfortunately, I do need to leave for work pretty soon, so I'm not going to be doing that today. That's why I did my makeup, because I thought that I was going to do 2 videos today, but this took a lot longer than I thought it would. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you did. And if you did, please hit that subscribe button. I would love to see you guys again. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, because I would love to hear what you guys think of it. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever you are. And I will see you guys again on the next one. Bye.